Hello, I'm HomoArrosor, and today we are going to completely dismantle a paradox that has been seriously confusing the market for years now. Because as we sit here right now in August of 2026, the broader market looks at Pi Network and they just see this struggling, dirt-cheap altcoin. But what I see something entirely different. I'm looking at the foundational operating system of the fourth industrial revolution. So let's dive into this explainer and uncover exactly why the market is pricing Pi this way today and what the actual architectural blueprint reveals about our immediate future.
So why is Pi still dirt cheap? I mean, I get asked this constantly, and the answer is actually pretty straightforward. The current market framework is completely broken. You see, casual observers are looking at Pi through this outdated lens of it being just another simple crypto token that's sitting around waiting for an exchange listing. They are completely missing the forest for the trees. The market sees an unproven, cheap digital currency, but it is completely blind to the actual blueprint being meticulously constructed right in front of us. And that blueprint is for a decentralized operating system designed specifically for artificial intelligence, physical robots, and human collaboration. And I want to show you exactly how this blueprint was drawn up. Not in 2019, mind you, but over 2 whole decades ago.
The disconnect here is honestly just glaring. The legacy blockchain view, the one everybody is used to, expects every single project out there to be about decentralized finance, decentralized exchanges, and anonymous tokens flipping back and forth. But look at Pi's actual blueprint. Pi is actively constructing an integrated production system. We are talking about physical AI and digital agents working right alongside verified humans. The value of this network absolutely does not come from simple token swapping. It's derived from providing the base, foundational infrastructure for machines and humans to securely interact, verify one another, and settle transactions automatically. That is a completely different ballgame.
Now, to really understand this, I have to take you back a bit. There's this persistent, wild myth floating around that Nicolas is Satoshi Nakamoto. Look, let me be perfectly clear on this. There is zero verifiable cryptographic proof of that, and honestly, it completely doesn't matter. What actually matters is his documented, verified academic history, way back in 2004, and remember, that is a full 5 years before Bitcoin even launched. Nicolas published his master's thesis at the University of Toronto, and the topic? A modular framework for implementing fault-tolerant distributed services using Lamport state machine approach. Now, simply put, that is the core mathematical foundation for getting a bunch of different computers to agree on a single version of the truth. He didn't just casually stumble into blockchain one day, he spent years researching the core mechanics of decentralized applications at Stanford, way before launching Pi in 2019. So the absolutely crucial point here is understanding what he was actually studying back in 2004. Fault-tolerant distributed services. In exhaustive, technical detail, this means building a system where multiple replicated servers essentially act as one single brain. They perfectly agree on the exact order of requests coming in. But most importantly, if an individual node completely crashes and burns, the system dynamically replaces that failed server without relying on any single central point of control. The system just maintains continuous operation, seamlessly. He was actively solving the problem of single points of failure in distributed networks, long before the word cryptocurrency was even a thing.
Let's fast forward to right now, August 2026, and see how this perfectly builds into our current reality. That 2004 research, it's no longer just some interesting academic exercise, it is an absolute industrial survival condition. Because the AI and physical robot economy we are building right now has a fatal flaw, single points of failure. Think about it. Today, a failure in AWS or Google Cloud, a major hack on a centralized identity service, or even just getting blocked by a central payment processor literally halts entire fleets of robots and AI agents completely in their tracks. In a physical AI economy, centralization is a fatal liability. A decentralized, fault-tolerant network is an absolute operational necessity for these systems to keep running.
And that brings me directly to the core of the Pi white paper. It states, and I quote, "The ultimate goal is a decentralized network where nodes reach consensus without a central authority." This right here is exactly where that 2004 distributed consensus research merges with modern human dynamics. Pi integrates this incredibly robust, fault-tolerant architecture with a massive, living human trust graph, which is built via security circles. What you get is a resilient, human-centric network that is designed specifically to operate continuously, entirely without centralized control. And it does this precisely to prevent the catastrophic single points of failure that currently threaten all of our modern AI infrastructure.
So let's deconstruct how this decentralization is actually structured under the hood. There is a very strict intentional separation between general nodes and supernodes. General nodes validate the ledger and submit transactions. They basically act as this massive pool of distributed resources, which expands outward into AI compute, storage, and bandwidth. Supernodes, on the other hand, are the ones holding the distributed authority. They participate in the Stellar Consensus Protocol. They write the ledger and they handle the final settlement. To achieve true decentralization, you absolutely must have both. You need the distributed physical resources, and you need the distributed consensus authority.
But hey, ideal in facts. So let's look at the actual reality of the current v26.1 mainnet code right now. At this exact moment, general nodes are configured as watchers, not validators. The literal code explicitly dictates that general nodes are not set up to be validators just yet. Currently, consensus relies heavily on 3 Pi core team validators. And you know what? That is a factual reality of the current bootstrap phase we are in. The network itself is massive for sure, but the consensus authority has not yet been fully distributed to the community supernodes.
Because of that, the formula for reaching true decentralization requires a very specific step-by-step sequence of events. First up, the complete v27 protocol baseline upgrade has to happen to unify all nodes to the latest standards. But v27 alone isn't some magic switch that just turns everything on. True decentralization only happens when the subsequent steps occur. Step 2. Community supernodes must be actively selected and granted actual validation authority. Step 3. Independent quorum slices have to be established by the nodes themselves. And finally, Step 4. The reliance on the core team's central validators must be definitively and completely removed. That right there is the exact moment when the authority genuinely shifts.
Now you might be wondering, why is this massive, decentralized human node network so incredibly important right this second? Well, it's because of the Sybil threat. For those who don't know, a Sybil attack is the danger of one single person creating countless fake identities to completely overwhelm a network. So how do we stop infinite fake AI agents? In our modern era, AI allows for the nearly costless creation of thousands or even millions of fake digital agents. And these fake agents threaten to completely monopolize computing resources, manipulate the data being fed to physical robots, and completely destroy the integrity of our digital economies. We are way past just fighting email spam here, folks. We are fighting infinite, highly intelligent, automated forgery.
And this is exactly how Pi constructs what I call the fourth industrial Sybil defense system. I want to walk you through this in extreme detail because it's brilliant. It starts at the base with human trust. Pi KYC and security circles establish verified human roots, effectively blocking fake actors right at the door. Then comes authentication. Pi sign-in and the Pi wallet mathematically link that verified human to their delegated AI agent. Next up is compute. Pi nodes and solo host step in to provide localized, distributed AI inference. Then we have robot collaboration. Systems like OpenMind and Fabric actually manage the machine identity side of things. And finally, settlement. The Pi mainnet steps in to handle automatic trustless payments. Every single layer reinforces the other to form an impenetrable wall against the Sybil threat.
And I want to stress that this is not theoretical at all. I'll cite the official Pi Today 2026 announcements directly to prove it. The focus was specifically compute, AI, identity. Pi formally grouped these 3 pillars together. They explicitly detailed exactly how Solohost manages local AI and distributed computing. They explained how Pi Sign-In handles the secure authentication for devices and apps. And they heavily highlighted Pi Verify as the exact mechanism to prove actual humanity to external enterprises. They are literally extending the Sybil defense far beyond the Pi app itself, taking it straight into the broader physical economy.
I really need to emphasize the sheer scale of what we are looking at here. 420,000. Right now, there are over 420,000 Pi nodes currently active on the network. That represents millions of CPUs scattered globally. This is absolutely not just a network designed to copy a financial ledger back and forth. No way. You are looking at the absolute largest distributed, human-verified production facility for physical AI computation in the entire world. It is a massive, decentralized engine that is just waiting to be fully utilized.
And the best part, they have already proven it works in the real world. Let's detail the OpenMind proof of concept from right here in August 2026. An external AI task was assigned to the network. Specifically, 7 Pi nodes successfully processed complex AI image recognition models for physical robots. The AI inference was executed completely securely across these distributed nodes, and the real-time results were returned in under 4 seconds. Let that sink in. This unequivocally, factually proves the technical viability of Pi nodes serving as a real-time, external compute pipeline for the entire robotics industry.
So let's contrast Pi with legacy blockchains one more time to really drive this home. Look, I definitely acknowledge competitors out there like Fetch.ai and Akash. They're doing great work in agent payments and distributed compute. But Pi uniquely integrates over 18 million KYC-verified humans, 420,000 computing nodes, and physical robot collaboration into one single, massive, cohesive ecosystem. Legacy systems are hyper-focused on anonymous digital assets and DeFi. The Pi network focuses on physical AI, verifiable robot labor, and the mutable human identity. It's an entirely different paradigm.
All of this leads us right to the ultimate closed economic loop. I want to lay out the exact chronological sequence required for Pi's true network value to actually trigger. First, a verified human delegates authority to their specific AI agent. Second, that agent requests a task from a Pi node or a physical robot. Third, the node securely executes the AI computation. Fourth, humans and robots interact to provide whatever necessary data is needed. And finally, the Pi mainnet automatically settles the payment in the background. Right now, these pieces exist somewhat separately, but as we are seeing, they are rapidly assembling into this fully closed, brilliantly decentralized economic loop.
Which finally resolves the massive paradox we started this whole deep dive with. Why is Pi dirt cheap? Because the current low price is merely the option price of an unproven future system. The market, as it stands, is simply pricing in the execution risk of this current bootstrap phase. The true explosion in network value doesn't happen today. It happens only when this economic loop of human verification, AI compute, robot labor, and Pi settlement fully closes and operates seamlessly at scale.
So I want to leave you with this provocative thought. When you look at Pi Network today, are you just watching a cheap coin? Or are you watching the operating system of the fourth industrial revolution being meticulously built layer by layer right in front of your eyes? Because the true big bang for this network arrives when nodes operate, AI computes, and robots settle transactions entirely within Pi, completely free from any centralized control. I think it is high time to rethink your entire perspective on what a decentralized network is actually capable of achieving.